Monday, August 1st, 2016. This is Maelstrom Radio.
Maelstrom Radio. With your hosts, Flex and Shinter.
And welcome everyone to Maelstrom Radio. It is I, your lovely and bearded host, Flatus, and with me, the Canadian Wildcat himself, Shin. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. It's a long weekend for us here, so I was off all day today. It's pretty good.
That's lucky.
I can't complain.
I don't. Yeah,
Perks of being Canadian.
I can't argue that, I guess. How you haven't been on all weekend, so I can't ask how your gaming week was because you weren't really gaming all this week. Unless, I mean, you could have been gaming in other games, but
I did not do any gaming this weekend, no. I did enjoy a pool. There was nice weather.
is the heat wave affecting Canada as it is the United, like the rest of North America?
I don't know if it's quite affecting all of Canada, but we are getting some of it here in Ontario.
Oh, really? Oh,
I don't think we can complain as much as the US, though. You guys seem to be getting hit pretty hard.
yeah, it's true. Um, so other than that, really, I got nothing. I mean, I've been gaming. I got Final Fantasy XI installed, and I want to share that ordeal with you because the comedy aspects of Play Online are hilarious. For anyone that has never played Final Fantasy XI, Play Online is the
Like
thing.
me.
Play Online is the system Square created that you need to log into Final Fantasy XI. It's like this weird service, I guess, that they created, like this front page service that you have to go through. So it's got weird things. It's kind of like a hub to log into the game. Kind of like how modern MMOs have like a splash thing that pops up. It's kind of like that, except it has like you can download wallpapers and look at the website and look at the game manual. Like it's all this stuff like you have to log in through. It's a bunch of these features and it is just terrible. Like I had to look online on Reddit to figure out how. I'm like, I don't get how. Like they're like, you don't have a thing. I'm like, I paid for the game and I should have 30 days free. Nowhere does it tell you they have to enter your credit card information into the system, pick that you want one character, and then it'll instantly reimburse. It will never charge you; just instantly reimburse you. I was just flabbergasted. And then I got in game and I realized that it's all menu based and I need a control. Like I'd prefer a controller. I could not, like I was like mouse and keyboard. I'm like I couldn't do it. Oh yeah, I spent like 40 minutes trying to figure out how to like adjust my graphics. I like had to go into the folder and find the graphics panel to like. I'm like, oh okay, yeah, that's very old. Um, it's also got crystals in it, so I mean, like the
Perfect. It's the same thing.
yeah, it's the same. Um, it's got like it's interesting like the higher our high here are Humes in that game, Hume, so very non. I mean, you can clearly tell that this was a stepping point up, like when they because Yoshi P took it over from the guy who created helped direct Final Fantasy 11. He created 1.0. So jumping into that was a strange and weird world of old school like it's a step up. I would put it somewhere between EverQuest 1 and EQ2 graphics. That's where I would put it graphic wise. Um,
It's kind of interesting
it,
considering that EQ2 is now 12 years old.
yeah. So I would probably put it in there, but it looks great. Like it's shadow. It's like it's. I don't know. Maybe I would actually put it. I can't describe it. I'm gonna stream Final Fantasy 11 at some point this week once I figure out how to. By the way, if you're listening to this or watching us live, by all means, if you if you have any interest in helping me play Final Fantasy 11, by all means.
Or if you want to watch them crash and burn, tune into the stream later.
That that may be a thing. I don't know if I'll do that later. I might do that this weekend because that game.
Sometime.
Oh yeah, then
Whenever it pops up, like going live.
yeah, that game has a crazy learning curve. I was like, oh, I have to read shit. Like I literally had to read the first quest and I didn't, and I logged out. I was like, I'm scared. I logged back in and it put me in front of the guy I needed to talk to. I don't know how that works. I was like, did I do it right then? I'm
Magic.
Like, maybe. I don't know. So
I think Donkatron's got the right thoughts there. He'll play, he won't play. He'll watch.
that's probably the best thing to do. I would say if you were looking for the correct way of enjoying Final Fantasy 11 is probably watch me rip my hair out. And they're making Final Fantasy 11 mobile. Yeah, I seen the mobile edition. It is not like Final Fantasy 11 at all. It's
kind of weird to put an MMO onto the phone.
it is, but it's still an MMO. I don't know. I've seen like go Mr. Happy, who's a fantastic Final Fantasy 14 YouTuber and content creator. He go watch him play Final Fantasy 11 mobile. He got the Japanese version and probably worth your time. But we do have some. Um, First up on the docket, and I'm probably not even. I'm in. Where am I at? I'm here. So the first thing we have is the Final Fantasy Fan Festival Art and Costume Contest is up and running again this year. So for you folks that are artists and or costume designers, cosplayers, uh, well, the judging for the cosplay will be there. So good luck. I will probably be front row, being like, "Oh, you're amazing." But if you dress like Garuda, I will probably cheer for you the hardest, just because you're the namesake for our guild. So, um, for the art contest, though, I love art contests, so have at it. If you want more info, please go over to the Lodestone and sign up and do your thing. Who knows what you'll get? Graphics cards. Last year, last time I know they gave out a graphics cards and T-shirts and swag and all that fun stuff. So it is worth your time if you have any artistic ability. I do this, which is probably at the lowest level. So if you're anything up above me, get in there.
Yeah, it looks like they have paintings, drawings, sculptures, or other crafts on top of the cosplay as well.
Other crap. I'm gonna like.
There's a whole category dedicated to crafted physical entries, non-drawn art. I'm really interested to see what that entry is going to be.
I'm gonna use popsicle sticks and make a little tiny sword and be like, I'm a dark knight. So they revealed the finalist, or at least some of the entries for. And in case you didn't know, there was a Final Fantasy 14 design armor for tanks. This time it's a tank edition of design armor. I do have the screen caps up, and we can look at some of those. Some of them are super cool looking. I'm like super excited to see some of them. And I will bring that up on the screen for you folks that are watching us live on twitch.tv/Maelstrom Radio. If you look, here's the shortlisted entries. The first one I don't think is a lot as tanky. I get it. I get the look they're going for, but I don't. It's maybe classic Final Fantasy, but I don't know. It's a little Cloud Stripe from Final Fantasy VII, which we get as armor. Anyway, I love the I love this one, the second one. There's something about wearing a like just a plant monster as an outfit.
Are you sure that it didn't just eat the Lalafell and then
I don't know, but if it
somehow?
gives me those underpants, I will wear them. I don't care. Give them to me. Yet again, the next one is more of like a. It almost looks like I'm sleeping in those clothes. I love the Adamantoise armor. I don't know what it is. I just want to be a Ninja Turtle. Looks dope. Um, we go down. We get some. I guess it's like gold. Like let me look like leaves. It's very unique. I like it. It's unique.
A lot of these designs are really awesome.
Yeah, a lot of them are. I do like this one with the black and gold. I'm a Dark Knight too. I want more Dark Knight armor. The goat's head.
Yeah, you want the one that's just demonic.
Yeah, of course I do. And look, it comes in different color variations. It's fine. So,
So you can have one that's purple to match your sword.
and a part of me, a tiny part of me, wants the bucket. Like
I just want the bucket helm.
I want the bucket helm and the little like the walk chest piece.
Yeah.
Like I love that it's like based on a child's rendition of what an adventure is, and I kind of dig that. But some of these people, I mean, are fantastic. This with the sword and the gold and the drapes and like how they drew it as a classic Final Fantasy art. Ugh, some of these are just fantastic. Kudos to some of these names I can't even say. Ida, you did a fantastic job. I love that, and I don't know what that is, and I apologize. And I don't speak Japanese, nor do I read kanji. This is also cool. This is very like the mohawk and the blades coming out. That reminds me of Warhammer. Warhammer, the Chaos. That reminds me of the Chaos from Warhammer, like their like kind of their armor with the dragons and spikes and stuff. This angel thing looks like a healer set. I don't know. To me, it looks like a healer set. And then the beret, I don't like that. No offense, but and I guess this is Waka from Final Fantasy X, I guess. And then I don't know. There's some of these are fantastic. Some of these I question, but some of these are fantastic. I do like the one with the lion on the back. I don't know if about the open chest, but I do like the lion. And this one, just because I get to wear a cool furry thing. I just dig them. I don't know about the tank. Like I guess this one lets me become a mount. Like I transform into a tank and then maybe roll away, and I'm kind of into that because if that lets me turn into a mount, I'm
You
kind
have
of
to be a
down.
Lalafell for it to work, though.
Boo. get get in there. Um. So yeah, these are some of them. These are all the contestants. You can find more of this at the Lodestone. Some of these armors are beautiful and fantastic, like this one, and the classic Black Knight. I love these. This is just the tank edition. Most likely we'll have more editions for other classes as well. So, and of course they always win the same thing as all the other contests. The Noble Barding for the Chocobo, the Araman Choker, the Mandragora Choker, the Bluebird Earring. 10 runners-up will receive the set of all four of the Noble Barding. So, oh, and the grand prize winner gets their design in the game. So you get all the stuff, and the runners you get all the stuff too. You just don't get your design in the game. So at least you get something. All right. Also, it's the third anniversary of Final Fantasy XIV, and I'm super excited because we are getting another 14-hour stream on August 26th, starting at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That will go. It's 14 hours, so that's gonna be a hell of a thing. So I don't know if I'll stay up through all of it. If they do a live letter during which I would like. I think it's about time we got another live letter. So August 26th would be the time to do it. So do it during the 14-hour stream. So whenever that live letter is, I will probably wake up, write notes, and go back to sleep, because I'll be super sleepy after that. So depending on when the live letter is, but that would be my hopes. That it's super early on, just go on, but most likely not. They'll probably do the live letter in the middle, knowing my luck. doing things, getting stuff done. So they released a new mount to the store. If you've not seen it yet, I will post a pick up now.
That is one hell of a mount.
Yeah, it's the Fat Moogle mount. The Moogle Queen, surrounded by 2 Moogles and a bench, and you can ride on it with a friend. This will run you $30. It's cool. It's got a little flavor button. The Moogles dance around it, and it wiggles its tiny feet. It's an interesting mount. I don't know if it's $30 worth, but then of course I bought, Sleipnir. But I also bought Sleipnir on sale, so I don't know how you want to. I don't know how you want to look at that. So it's $30. Go at the Mog Station, have at it. If you want to drop 30 on a Fat Moogle mount. Now, a few weeks ago, we announced that we were doing a contest for the Deep Dungeon for this person to send us a screenshot of the furthest run they did in the Deep Dungeon would win a minion of their choice off the Mog Station. We had an entry, and guys, we ran a contest. We gave you 2 weeks, and we said the furthest person doing a solo run would win. And we had one entry, and that guy rules because he entered. And if you could have beaten him, you probably could have done it. And he is in chat right now. Donkatron is in chat. And I'm going to show his image on screen right now.
I know so many people made it all the way through the Deep Dungeon, and some people times more than once as well. Not so many solo runs but I'm sure people have run through them solo as well all the way through.
I think a lot of people were trying to maximize time and trying to get their weapon. So I don't think a lot of people were running through solo. But the contest didn't really give you that option. You had to run solo as far as you could. So you missed out on a free minion. So have at it. So we will get with Donkatron later, message you, and we'll figure all that out. But thank you. Congratulations on winning. He got to floor 11 solo. You can see him doing his dance, his Manderville, with on his Bard, no less. I'm pretty sure he could have had an easier time if he went as Scholar, maybe Monk, and DPS to how that plays, but he probably chose the hardest of modes and went Bard. So, congratulations yet again from us. So, we got a lot to talk about.
We always have a lot to talk about.
It's true. You and I have been running Deep Dungeon on and off with different groups and different things, and I don't think you and I have really talked about Deep Dungeon on the show yet. We talked a lot about...
We talked about a pre-show, like a pre-Deep Dungeon. We thought about our thoughts and our hopes and what we hoped it was going to be.
So let's start out there. Did the hopes and dreams come true? Is it what it should have been? We know this is only the first 50 floors, and they have every chance to make it right, or change it. Do you think that there could be more to Deep Dungeon coming up?
So kind of going in that order, is it what I thought it was going to be? No. I don't think I could have predicted what it was. Although, in the end, I'm kind of happy how it turned out. I do think that it's very interesting, especially from a technological point of view. There's lots of interesting different parts to it: the randomized dungeons, the floors, the bits, the abilities, the chests, the monsters, the traps. I do think that there's still a lot of room for improvement and iteration to make it better. I think the farthest I've made it so far is only floor 30, so I haven't managed to get to the 40s, or I guess the 30s or the 40s yet, so I haven't been able to get through the entire zone. But what I've seen so far has been really promising, and I hope that they continue to expand on it and improve on it. Stuff like this could be used to, if the technology was expanded, you could eventually just have full actual dungeons that are randomly generated like this. Maybe you're jumping into like Hullbreaker Isle or something, and the path that you take through this island each time differs or something. Like that could easily be worked into main dungeons at this point, not just some sort of gimmicky side option. Here, go play with this toy.
I agree with you. I think that we didn't expect to know what Deep Dungeon was. I think it's a great foundation for the system. I think they need to make some changes. It's almost there. Like it's 90%. Like it's like just fallen short of what it's supposed to be. And again, and I am the jerk that didn't turn off my phone. And I'm gonna finish my sentence and go grab that, and I suck. But um, so yeah, it's just falling short. And one of the things I have issues with is that it yeah, you level like the XP is fantastic. I started taking my my pugilist in there, and we did the first 10 floors, hit 3 levels. Did the next 10 floors, hit another like like I'm jumping levels like it's nobody's business. Um, yeah, the arsonist in chat. I leveled 5 times yesterday in 4 hours. The deep dungeon, worth it. Working for that weapon too. Yeah, it's worth doing. My thing is that the repetition, like to get to the end. Like I would love, like instead of it, like I'm okay with. All right, there you can't use magic, or you can't use pomanders this level, or you can't do this level, or like the number of mobs is increased, or you get a buff this floor. I'm okay with that. What I want is a different things each floor. Like I want to be, instead of like you have to kill so many monsters and then go to the next level, you have to kill so many monsters and go to the next level. What I'd like to see is like, hey, you have to light so many like give me like torches or something. Like you have to light up the floor, like light these like 5 torches, or do it in a correct order, like something. Or if you do it wrong, like it knocks 10 minutes off your time. Like like it needs to get, other than like the mobs are harder and we're just trying to rush through it and see how fast we can get it because it's just a let's kill things. um there should be some different challenges, like to mix it up, to make it feel fresh. Like, or what are we gonna get? Is it gonna be kill all the things, or is it gonna be a puzzle, or is it gonna be this? And I think that's the way of doing it.
This kind of reminds me a bit of like the old school MMO stuff. We have the first iteration is you get these rooms and these places that you walk through, and you have to figure out what is going on. So right now we're just going through and killing mobs, and it's like the bare bones that a dungeon kind of needs. And back when MMOs first came out, maybe that's all it was. We've had what 17 some odd years since EverQuest launched, and I know there was a few before that as well, like to expand and improve upon all these different concepts. And these deep dungeons have just come out now, so they have root time to kind of implement all these different things, and both things that they've learned from the past and new ideas that we can kind of throw in. Like, I would definitely love to see puzzle rooms, or uh, I'm kind of biased, but I would like to see more Zelda-esque features in these dungeons. Like
That's not
go
wrong.
through and find this awesome item, and this helps me solve this level, or yeah, a puzzle or something.
That, you know what, you're not wrong. Would it hurt? Like, I know we're getting a weapon, right? But after we, because most of us are gonna get this weapon after this. So what's going to be the reason to go back in to do floors 51 through 100? What's gonna be what's gonna be the grab? Another weapon? Make it so maybe every 10 floors we get like a piece of gear or armor or something useful. I don't give a shit what it is. Give me Sinky boots. I don't care. Or magnet.
I like Donkatron's suggestion in chat there, platforming Indiana Jones style. I would love a jumping puzzle. It would frustrate so many people to get so far and die to a jumping puzzle, but it would be amazing.
That'd be so great. Let's see, Luna Box in chat. I've only done up to floor 20, and I kind of left it drop. It doesn't seem like anything new and amazing in the game. It's definitely not magically holy grail. This will save the game. They tried hard to hype it up to me. If I ever finish it, it'll only be for the story. That's it. Um, you know what? If you're trying to level other classes, it does 3 things I think really well. One, it allows you to sample a class. If you're like, man, I don't know if I'll like this. Take a new class, even though it's probably best if you go in with the job. I would say go in with the class at least so you get a feel for it. So it does that. It does give you two. Leveling is really good. Like the levels, if you go in with the right group. The arsonist said it earlier. You can level 5 times in 4 hours. That's pretty damn good. I know there's probably faster ways of leveling, and you could probably work out faster ways of leveling. But like, if you're working towards a 235 weapon for another job, and you want to level that job, it's not that bad. It's kind of killing two birds with one stone. And three, I think it gives. Like, I've seen a lot of people over there. Like, every day, I still see a lot of people over there and doing it. So, it's not.
Place to Idleshire is the place to be.
Yeah, like it. It may not have done. It may not have been like the thing to save the game, but it is currently the thing to do, and people are doing it. um, but like I said, I think that it's definitely a great starting point. It just needs small tweaks, some stuff added, and like it's almost like a cake that's almost done. Like, you got it out of the oven. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got it out of the oven, but now you need to level it off and then ice it and then do everything else to make it so much better than just cake. And there's nothing wrong with just cake, but cake with icing and cream and everything else is that much better. And I think that's what'll make it so much nicer. But yeah, add that stuff like you said. Like, give us that Legend of Zelda thing. Like, give us that cool item at the end. Besides a weapon, like, make it worth our while. You know, a mount's cool, a minion's all right, but like, I wouldn't mind like a helm, like, for each class, like this cool like glowy helm that you can only get there, or a chest piece, or a gear set like you do each floor. And like, going from 50 to 100, like, make it kind of hard, and like get it in there, and like, I guarantee people will start running it like more, like wanting to go do it and be like, dude, I want to get to floor 60 to 70 because I want the chest piece or whatever it is. So yeah, at least on our server on Famfrit, there's tons of people there, but Famfrit is, I think, one of the servers that like everyone's like, let's do all the things. Is there anything else you have on Deep Dungeon?
I was to say, I think it could also be used kind of as a tester ground for new features or functionality. Like, hey, we're gonna throw in this new mechanic, or we're gonna throw in this new thing, or whatever. Like, they did stuff like being able to turn into different monsters or disable certain effects on certain floors. Like, that's all stuff that we could see in the future as a dungeon, or within a regular dungeon, and they can test all these different things in the sense of it's a temporary effect during a single level. So yeah, it doesn't affect you, but hey, they get a good reaction and people really like this. Maybe that's something that they should bring into the core game itself.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's great because we want to see new things. You always want to see, and I have to say, like, Heavensward has been like this weird story wise. Like, the main story has been like like I've said on my other podcast yesterday, that Heavensward is my Wrath of the Lich King almost, or my Burning Crusade in Warcraft terms, where it's these like beautifully done expansions, and it's still like because like that's where they started, like WoW was starting to try new things. Maybe like, especially, I'll go more with Burning Crusade because they really weren't dumbing down the game at that point. But yeah, like Rising Water, like people in like chat are just giving out like such cool suggestions. Like, what about Rising Water, or like a drowning mechanic? Like, that would go, like, wouldn't you, like, you have to get like drain the water, like run to a room and like, oh, here's the
Please, not the water temple again. You do not want to mess with another water temple.
Want to buy Demon Master class, switch between tanking Manticore and DPS Succubus. The Manticore is just One Punch Man. That's all it is. Every time I get Manticore, I'm like, what punch? And just slamming through guys.
This is why we can't have nice things.
It's true.
You just destroy everything with the Manticore.
That's also true. That's how I am. Just one punching things.
I do like the kart racing suggestion. You could do like Mario Kart in game, or even just like minecart, like old school Donkey Kong.
That'd be cool. Or what about what about guiding a bomb through like all the rooms to get to the end to blow up, like to ignite the exit. Like, wouldn't that be a cool feature? Like, a guy, like, you have to keep the bomb alive and other things are gonna attack it, so you have to keep the bomb alive through the whole thing to get it to the end to ignite.
That would be awesome. And I just kind of thought of it as well. You could do something similar, but with an item on the ground. And you know, there's some dungeons where you have to hit the mobs or items or whatever away from certain things.
Yeah.
do that so you actually have to hit it down corridors and navigate it, but kind of like Operation, where if it hits the side or if it hits the wall, it explodes.
Oh yeah. What about
So
like
many fun mechanics we can think
yeah,
of here.
like there's also like maybe adding new traps. Like what about instant death traps? Like something like the room crushes you. Like if you actually step on it, it is game over. Like I know some people would hate that. Like it's like no, I do not want to instantly die.
Yeah, I think like one hit kill, you have no option. Things are just kind of bad in general. There's no challenge to it. It's just you've lost the RNG and you're so
What?
over.
All right. Well, instead of one hit, what if it like did?
If it was like a reactionary thing, like, oh shoot, you stepped on the switch, get out as soon as possible. And if you're not out within 2 seconds, you're dead. Fine.
All right, and like or it took like maybe just half your health, and
Yeah.
you can't regen unless you use a potion or all ice floors, so you're sliding all over the place. That'd be kind of cool. I'm telling you, like it's got okay. Silence pacification is already bad enough. We won.
I run into the lure trap so many times it's not even funny anymore.
So, I mean, it's the groundworks, right? It's what we look at and say, all right, where, and I'm gonna say this as a guy who talked about EverQuest Next for 3 years. I looked at a game and said, what could they possibly do, right? And I look at what, and this is something I tangibly play. So I know a lot of people are like, well, it's not great, and I'm like, but you know what? I played Landmark and gave feedback on that, and so I can tell you that like this is just if they play it smart, this could be fantastic, and this could be used to grow like and spread into your dungeons like you were saying earlier, like a Hole Breaker Isle where there is other items and like other pathways you can take. Like you could have your story dungeons like Sorkai, or even your hard modes where you have to go back in and like you have to choose a path. Like make it so like, hey, this path may lead to a different boss than this path. You could totally do that. It could be like a mirror image of the boss. It could just be something like, all right, this boss is fire and this one's ice, and they do the same moves. So it's like, but you just have to fight one of them, or split the party. Like you, like you have to figure out how to like kill them both, and like and you have to switch between them. Like I'd be down with
Never
that.
split the party.
I
Never split the party.
Shh. We split the party 3 ways. I've done that before.
How did that end up for you?
We're alive. Currently, it worked out
No
okay.
comas?
No, not yet. All right. So, I, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's a good start. It is definitely a good start. The XP is good. The weapons a good step. Chili today from Mugo Around Radio is already working on his. He got a second weapon for his second job. So, it's a great alternative to leveling and getting a catch up mechanic for your second class. I just don't want it to be just looked at as this is fun and a catch up mechanic, where it could be this is awesome and fun to do. I think fun versus using it as a catch up mechanic are two different things. I think it should always fun should always come first. So, so that being said, we have an event that's going on currently. It's lasting 2 months and 7 days, and it's called Yokai Watch.
It's a week.
It is a week. It is 7 days is a week, as pointed out by the arsonist. So Yokai Watch event. Shin, what are your thoughts? How do you feel about Yokai?
So since I've been away for this weekend and I didn't get a whole lot on last week, I've only actually run the event for one night with everybody. But so far, I've been kind of impressed with it. Like, I know there are some people that have talked about the low drop rates or having issues with those, but I think in the less than an hour that we were out, I had almost 30 different normal medals and 4 or 5 legendary medals, and we were all over the place. So I really wasn't collecting legendaries for more than maybe 10, 15 minutes.
That's about right.
And yeah, so this is a 2-month event, and there's only so many minions you get. I think someone pointed out that you need 72 of the regular medals to unlock all of the minions, and then you need to go and get the legendary medals from those. But all of this, like, there's 2 months to do this, and I know people already have both of the mounts for completing all of the weapons plus just getting all the minions. So I think 2 months is more than enough time. The drop rate seems more than reasonable, and it seems pretty fun. Like, there's been lots of people going through all these old zones, like we were all over Gridania and Thanalan and all these different places that really have been kind of dead more or less for the past few months with everyone moving into Heavensward.
Yeah. I feel the same way. Like I think there are some people that are like, oh god, a grind. I can't believe I got a fake grind for that. I'm like, it's really not that bad.
To be fair, I really am against the fate grinding too. I just, after having done it for the Atmo step of the quest, the relic
Yeah.
quest,
Yeah.
and then going and doing it again for the Anima quest, and then going and doing it again for this, and I'm kind of
Fate.
over with fates. Fates are a great idea that have been beaten to death.
So, when you say something like that, my question's gonna be to you: how would you have done this event? Would you have created a special fates? That's something that was unique to this solely, so that was like, all right, at least even though I'm running fates, I'm running unique fates that may have different sort of things to it, where I'm not running the same ones or just gallivanting across all of Eorzea, just doing the same fates over and over again just to collect medals. Would you have preferred that?
I don't know if I'd go so far as to. I don't think I would do custom fates. I think that would lead to more mess than what it currently is. I'm more thinking that we just do fates over and over and over again for pretty much every single event. It goes back down to fates. Like, isn't there other mechanics that they can use that doesn't lead us going back to just grinding fates?
PvP.
Like, they have all these different things. Yeah, there's PvP, although that one probably wouldn't go over so well for most of the population.
I would laugh hysterically. They're like, you gotta
But there's stuff like the Manderville quest line that's a completely random quest line, or some of these other quests where they're like, where you're not giving you any help, read the quest text and figure it out on your own, like an actual solve your own problem.
Oh.
Or, there's this whole deep dungeon thing. Maybe we have to go into a special set of levels in the deep dungeon, like a special event set of levels.
Can we take a step back real quick? I really like the idea of an old school, like, for example, in like, spoilers if you've not gotten to this point yet, but no, actually no, it's fine. There is a certain lady in a certain cave named Matoya, and she's got 3 magic brooms, and those brooms, they literally pop up and say, you must read the quest text because there are no indicators on the map on how to do these quests. And I was like, oh dear God. Like, what if they did that? Like, what if they said, you know what, we're going to do an event and we're going to do it old school. Like, you have to read the quest line, you have to pay attention to what you're doing. Let's say if you had to go hunt the yokai, like literally go find these yokai in the world. They were scared and they ran off. Like, based on the story of the yokai, Whisper was locked away because I'm not gonna remember one of the races was like, no, this isn't natural. They locked him away, and the other yokai ran away. And you're like, man, I gotta find them all across Eorzea. You can just be in a Realm Reborn, like even in a dungeon. Like one of them is stuck in a dungeon. And
You can play Yokai Go.
Yeah, play exactly. You go around the world and look for the yokai. They're hidden, and like, cause in the game Yokai Watch, the Yokai Watch tells you like there's a yokai nearby, so you have to kind of search for it. Like I thought that would have been cool. I thought that would have been kind of awesome.
The tech's kind of there. Like, look at the Ether Current stuff.
Ta-da! That would have been awesome.
Like, as the Arsonist points out, the solutions would be on Reddit so fast. That's fine, though, but the part of that is, yeah, there's going to be people that will go out and look for the solution, but the people that go out and want to learn it on their own can do that. Like, there are lots of quests that I've actually gone through in Final Fantasy that there was no indicator, and I didn't use any help, and I solved it myself because that was fun.
Unless we throw that little crook in there that, let's say that a yokai stays in a spot for only a certain amount of time, much like a fate, right? Like, it's not a fate, but the yokai itself is like, I'm gonna pop up here because that's where I'm gonna be for like maybe only on a 10-minute timer, and then it'll change, and it's always random. It's always in the same, like, say, zone, but it's always random where he'll be, and you'll always have to like use your yokai watch to like scan it and be like, okay, shit, he's west now. Like, all of a sudden it pops up in a different location. You're like, I gotta whole ass. It does,
and I think
sorry. I was gonna say it doesn't take long to get across some of those old zones. Like 10 minutes at the most is probably fair enough, I would think.
And as there's some the second half of that comment, like people would tell everyone in chat, that's the point. Like you're building that community. Everyone works together to get this quest done. Like, I remember back when the epic weapons in EverQuest 2 were first released, they had people working not only on your server, but every single server was working together to figure out where the next step of each of these quests were because there was no how-to guide. There was no wiki of this is how you do it. It's you had to figure out each of these pieces, and it took weeks for us to figure out and piece together how we'd complete out each of these pieces. And it was to the point of like you have to go into this zone and farm this area for random drops. Like how do you find that out? Like you need a whole community to go out and figure these things out, and it brings the community itself closer together as well.
Exactly. Um, so I think a lot of it is like looking at maybe figuring out how to bring some of that old school. And Yoshi P has said this recently. Like they are looking at old school MMOs and classic like first and second gen, third gen MMOs and saying, hey, listen, what are they doing or what did they do and what are they still doing that works really well? And the reason for them to keep their population. You know, I listened to I played EverQuest 1, I've played EverQuest 2. EverQuest 1, there is a lot of things I do like about it. I mean, for an older game, there was some interesting stuff. You had to read the text, you had to listen, you had to like pay attention to what you're doing. Now, a lot of people just take a lot of that for granted because they're like, all right, well, I'm just gonna click on the thing and just click look at the circle, and that's where my quest is. But you know what? There is partially a thing like where you see people gathered in one of the main towns in EverQuest, and they're like people are buffing each other and like setting up parties and still doing that stuff. Like it interests the shit out of me. Like to do that, like get people in there, get people talking and gathering up. Like there's nothing wrong with I think with cross server play. I don't find anything wrong with that. I understand people don't necessarily have the time to shout for a group for hours, and I get it. Like I do get it. I work 40 hours a week. I get it. Like but a part of me does think that you can find a way to find a balance between old school and new school and make it work. There's a total balance there. It's just finding it, and just don't be afraid to want to push the game a little bit forward. Like just don't like you just can't be afraid to do it. I mean, even when we talk about Deep Dungeon, like, was it what we wanted? No, but is it what they were delivering? Yes. I mean, they had a set goal for the first 50 floors, and you know what? I get it. Like, I get why they did those first 50 floors that way. It's the first 30 were super easy to ease you into the mechanics and how it worked, and they figured people were gonna start, and I got it. Like I brought my Dark Knight in because I knew my Dark Knight class, but I don't know Pugilist as well as I know my Dark Knight, and sure enough, when I got the floors 40 through like we were doing 30 to 40, we got our shit pushed in because I didn't know how to play Pugilist. Because I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I have no idea. Just punch shit. I'll figure it out.
And we know that like there are definitely people out there who want that sort of stuff because otherwise games like Pantheon wouldn't be out there and looking for them. Like that's catering exactly to that style of gaming.
Yeah, there are. I mean, you have to figure out there are games that are coming out that are very old school in mechanics, and they're bringing up that group mentality. And you have to look at that stuff where like stuff like horizontal gear progression is still going to be a thing. Like something like Pantheon's going to have horizontal gear progression, where something like you may find a mithril tunic. I'm just going to use that as an example, and it may last you for 12 levels until you find something better. But that may be the go-to, and it may have this offer like, hey, listen, it offers like plus 10% health regeneration. And that's like if you're a tank, you're like shit. That's pretty fucking good. Like I'm gonna keep that tunic. Like fuck it, I may keep that tunic till I'm top level. So like like I said, I've never played Final Fantasy 11, like but I have played older school MMOs, and some of that worked. Like in Warcraft, original vanilla WoW, and even into BC, that's a lot of that shit worked. Like the gear treadmill and the progression system. I get it. Like I'll say it this way: there are ways to make you feel like when you log in, there's always something to do. There's always feel like you're always feel like There's going to be something for you to do. There's a goal at the end, the carrot on the stick, the thing that keeps you driven and driving forward and towards what you want. Um, it's kind of like, I don't understand when people say, I don't have enough time to play an MMO. I just want to get in and get out. Maybe MMOs aren't for you. And I'm not trying to be a dick when I say that, but maybe they're not. Like, I get that we're adults and we're growing up and we're starting to get married and have kids. But I mean, there are people I play games with that have kids or are married and still have time to sit down for a few hours and say, fuck it, I'm going to run a few dungeons and make the time. Because that's my time. That's me time. If you don't have that kind of time, there's Legend of Zelda. There's MMOs out there that get you in and get you out, I guess. Just, but like make it like like a real MMO where it has progression in it. If my kids are 17, 18, make the time. See, look, Dogtron's got it right. He's like, I'll fucking make the time. I mean, there are games out there like why is Dark Souls so popular? Why is Bloodborne so popular? Like, those games are inherently difficult for a reason. Why is something like
Because people hate themselves.
yeah, like, well, look at the Binding of Isaac, like a completely randomly generated dungeon. Essentially, it's the deep dungeon when you look at what Isaac is. Although it's a shooter in some sort of aspects, and it's a little bit of Legend of Zelda base. It's just the dungeon. But it's RNG based. It's difficult. You may die. It's a roguelike, and it's kind of like what I feel like Deep Dungeon could be. And I know we jumped back on Deep Dungeon, but like Yokai is a perfect example of like, it's an event, and I get what the event was cute and it was fun, and like I'm all for level 5. I play Yokai Watch. It's a great game. I have nothing against it. I just, they put a lot of work into it. Like we said last week when we went over the whole of this thing. So they were make your kids play. They were when they were young. That was a punishment. Make them like do like all your crafting classes, like all your gathering classes for you. Like you're like, you got to spend 6 hours mining for me. No.
This is either how you get your kids addicted to MMOs or completely turned off from them.
Right? Like,
A 50-50 chance.
Dude, imagine if you had like a kid that could do your fishing for you in Final Fantasy.
I knew people that would make their kids wanted to play, so they'd make them harvest.
Right?
And the kids loved to do it, and the parents were like, "Yes."
Yeah, like, oh, okay. Yeah, no, you're having fun, right? Yeah, okay. Can't wait for my future child. He's gonna be like, Dad, is it okay? Yeah, no, go ahead, harvest all you want, Billy. And why I have no children. So I don't know. Like, maybe it's just because I'm an old school gamer, and maybe it's just I have that old school gaming mentality, and maybe I'm not with that hip new generation of kids that are, that are gaming. But the arsonist MMOs are to waste your life on. I don't think that's necessarily true. I don't think it's true. I think it's a little, but I don't think it's necessarily super true. Like, what about the people that spend hours on end playing Grand Theft Auto Online? That's not necessarily an MMO. It's just a game where you shoot and kill things.
And with lots of other people.
Yeah, you do that and gain money, do races. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or Street Fighter, or pick any game like StarCraft, League of Legends. Like, yeah, like Arsonist MMOs are designed to hold many hours by default. Yeah, I agree with you. I do agree with you, and they generally have no limit. But there is a limit, isn't there? Like, once you get top gear and you've done all, like, once you're geared out, what is there to do? Like, there should never.
I don't think this is limited just to MMOs. I think this goes for all online games in general. Like, they are designed to keep you playing for many hours, come back, buy their expansions, DLCs, subscriptions, whatever they're selling. Like, there's not a whole lot of difference between somebody who goes in and spends hours playing an MMO running dungeons for loot, or playing Call of Duty and playing tons and tons of matches so that they can get their score up.
I agree with that. My thought is more of the carrot on the stick. What keeps the drive going? Like Luna Vox said earlier, like, she was like, I did it for 20 levels and I was just out. I was out. There was nothing for, like, I just didn't feel like it was for me. But then what is there? Oh, like, are you gonna spend like and like Luna, if you're still here, I'm like using you as an example. Like Luna spent time and created a whole guild on her or FC on her server dedicated to RP. Like she found a way to take the game and make it more for what her likes are. Um, so what I'm saying is like give us more of what we want, or figure out a way to make what like the carrot like lasts longer, like the drive to chase lasts longer than all right. Well, we did everything this patch had to offer, and what 3.3 had to offer is fantastic. We still haven't done everything. I'm saying maybe for the majority, like the major, like maybe not us. Maybe we're the minority here, or maybe we are the majority. Maybe we are the people that are enjoying this and doing all these things, and maybe there is a minority of people out there. I don't know, but I think that a lot of people, um, you have to worry. Like what I'm saying, I'll put it this way: you have to worry about what's coming down the future. Legion's coming out. You had a lot of people that joined Final Fantasy 14 currently that may have come from World of Warcraft that may enjoy Final Fantasy. There may be people that are like, you know what, fucking Legion's kind of coming out. It's got demon hunters. It's got all the things I like. It's got all the stuff I wanted ever. It's bringing back Illidan. I loved Illidan. Like may fucking be like, fuck Final Fantasy. I'm gonna go back to, and like you may lose people. So you have to kind of look at like retention, but progression. How to retain, but keep them going. Like a good example. I'll use Family Guy as an example. Like that classic. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Like that's what we need in MMO. You need that ooh piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy.
I think Final Fantasy does pretty well. Like generally, most of the patches are the ones that I can remember. They have bits for all different sorts of players. They have quality of life improvements for people that don't have a lot of time, adding like the dungeon finder, the raid finder, the party finder. They have stuff with the new content for people like pushing content. So there's main story quests in almost every patch. There's the Manderville side quest. There's new dungeons, new raids, new trials. You have your hardcore people who really want to push the raiding side of things. They add raids every now and then. You have the crafters. They usually add new recipes, new goals, new things to harvest. Like they added treasure skin maps for harvesting.
The
They've added
Acropolis.
so many different pieces for different groups of players, PvP rankings,
Can we expand
seasons
the
for
Acropolis?
everything. Yeah, there's so many different things that that they've done to address all different types of players, whether people are looking for challenges or they're going after achievements or they just want to kill things or whatever. I think they've done a good job with balancing all of that so far, which is one of the things why I think they've done so well with this game with past 2.0.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I agree with you. And we know that Diadem is getting a revamp. I think in 3.4. So we'll see Diadem change and be more focused and more of what they wanted, and hopefully that'll change. That'll offer something new for us to do as an FC because we do have the airship, so we can go do that. I think the gear progression system in Diadem was awesome. Like it's like here's 210 gear and it's random stats and like it was cool because like oh that's kind of dope. Like I could take it and maybe I won't get the piece of gear I want, but then you can go trade it and get materia like level grade 5 materia. Like that's kind of cool. Like I like the time limit on it. Like we could take up to I think a group of 8 and go in there. That's cool. I like that. There's hard monsters. Like I think that needs to be more focused. I think the same thing could be done in Deep Dungeon, more focus. Like we said earlier, trap systems, rising water, like different ways to progress. Like instead of just kill all things and go to the end, kill all things, go to the end. Same thing with your events. I think yokai. Cool. I love minions. Any MMOs like you got minions. Cool. I'm just that guy.
Gotta collect them all.
Yeah, I don't need to fight them. I just want them. So I'm down, and I like the weapons, and I like that there's 2 mounts, and I was like, that's cool. There's a lot of work that's going on there. I know someone in chat mentioned it earlier, and we kind of decided not to talk about it. Maybe what a future event's going to be. Um, I hope like so far I read some things and it may be fates, but they may be specialized fates, but fates nonetheless. So you can't always rely on fates. So I think we're trying to get across. Don't rest on your laurels. Is that like most companies are like, don't rest on your laurels and try new things. And I think Deep Dungeons is a new thing, and Aquapolis is a new thing, and Diadem was a new thing. Verminion was a failed thing, I guess. Um, Maybe look at those things and say, how can we did Crypt of the Necrodancer style for style level for Deep Dungeon. So a dancing style like floor, like where you have to like Manderville. Like
Yes.
each room you have to do a different dance, and if like but you have to follow. Oh, kind of like the gate in the Manderville, like the dancing one where you have to hit the different buttons, and like so like there's a person that pops in and Erp
Yeah, I remember
dens.
that.
Oh no, that'd be terrible. The Deep Dungeon and Erp den, like uh
The lobby.
oh no, it'd be scary. That'd be a scary place.
Someone should do that level 40 or level 50 lobby, whatever the last lobby is.
Yeah. No, gross. It'd be so sticky in that lobby. Ah, it's everywhere. So we need some like just a constant like floors wet sign is down.
And on that note,
Yeah, we took a hard left at the end there. All right. So I got some final thoughts. Shin, you got anything left to say about what's going on?
go for it.
All right. Um, Final Fantasy. I think you're a beautiful game, and I think that you are like the best romance story in the MMO world. Not like, and I've said this before. Not many MMOs get a second chance. And if they do get a second chance, it's usually because they're going free to play, and it ain't always so great. Um, so last year, Yoshi P created the 2-year anniversary event, and I clearly remember that his character in game, we broke the fourth wall, and he came to us as players and said, "This game is yours, and we always promise to do right by you." And I think you're trying, and I think you're doing a great job at trying. Um, but don't be afraid to go that extra, just to push that little bit extra. Don't always necessarily make it easy. Clearly, your player base said we love the content, the difficulty of Nidhogg. We love the difficulty of the Lost City of Mach. Um, Expand on that difficulty. I love the RNG elements of Deep Dungeon and Aquapolis. I think that you could spread that to your dungeons, keep that difficulty, start to merge these ideas, start to look and how you can make these things work together and dance, and you will tear down the fabric of reality of MMOs as we know it, and nobody will be able to touch you because and I say this as a guy who's played way too many MMOs. MMO companies are terrified to try new things because they are afraid that it'll fail. And you are not. You are not. Clearly, you're not, because you will try. You tried Verminion and it failed. You tried Dedum and you admitted that it didn't work, and you're fixing it. Listen to your player base and see what they like and see what they're doing, and just say, you know what, we're gonna go full hog, and just throw everything at it. And you could do it. I think you could do it. Just grab it by the tail and run with it. I think you guys are just smart. Like Yoshi P, I know, like you're ever gonna listen to this, but if you do, listening to this show, you've played, you've played MMOs just like I have. Like you played a crap ton of MMOs. You know what's fun, man. You know that RNG and difficulty and working together in groups and that yearned. That fire to be like, man, I earned something. I did this. I busted my ass and got this. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Are the animal weapons a bit much? Yes, but I have, I have nothing against difficult content. as long as the reward's there to match it. I have nothing wrong with RNG content as long as the reward's there to match it. Um, just no RNG and loot like WoW does. WoW is a special fucking cookie at this point. I mean, nobody could touch it. That game does a lot of things, right and wrong. But I think Final Fantasy's a different beast altogether. Your fans love you. Clearly, we sold out FanFest in America, and I think you're doing a beautiful job. Um, shoutouts, Shin, you have any shoutouts this week?
Not particularly. I guess shout out to Donkatron. Thank you for your submission, and of course all of my lovely FC mates, because I haven't been around for a long time, and we really need to go back and run things.
Yes, true. Shout out to everyone that Lunavox and Donkeytron and the Arsonist in chat. Thank you for showing up and listening to us live and hearing me blabber on a lot about what I would like in this game. It may not always be right, but I think I have an opinion, and I think that opinion sometimes matters. Who are you? Who are you again? We're Maelstrom Radio. So some quick things, guys. So shout out to everyone that came out. Shout out to Lunavox, of course. She was in chat earlier, and shout out to the lovely people in the Novice Network. And I'm gonna do a little shout out. Shin and I will be on my other show on the 7th, which is
1 week.
1 week. We'll be discussing, and that show's called Loot Table. Loot Table is a general gaming podcast, but we are discussing, oddly enough, we're going to be talking about Final Fantasy XIV, specifically Final Fantasy XIV patch 3.3 and everything it includes. I have gone on record saying that Final Fantasy 3.3, this patch, should set the standard for other MMOs, and I believe that, and I stand by that. And my co-hosts want me to put my money where my mouth is, so I'm bringing Shin along because Shin probably holds my money.
I did buy our house.
Yeah, there you go. So thank you all, and we got some stuff in the works, of course. I have everything, all of our shows up on archive.org. We are working on getting everything out on the RSS feed. We're having some issues with that, but I do have it uploaded. Everything is uploaded, and we are working on our site. We promise.
We're getting there.
It is getting there. So I just trying to work out the RSS feed. So once I get that figured out, we will be up. So you will be able to find us on all the things, and we will announce that. Trust me. And shout out to Carrie. He couldn't be here. Work called him, and he's supposed to have Monday nights off, but they called him in to work. Yeah, but he took it because he's like, money. And I was like, I can't. Well, I'm not gonna tell you to turn out money because, we are all poor. So thank you all so much for joining us for Maelstrom Radio. Thank you to everyone that joined us in chat. Thank you to all the other podcasts, and thank you Square Enix for giving us a game to play and letting me be a blabbermouth about it on every Monday night. You can find us at over at maelstrom.com. You can find us at all the maelstromradio.com. I'm sorry. You can find us at maelstromradio.com. You can find me at Flatus. You can find Shinter at Shinter. You can find Carrie at Super Entertained on Twitter. Talk to us. We don't bite. You can also find us on Twitter as well, maelstrom_radio. Send us an email, info@maelstromradio.com.
I'm sorry. One of these days we're gonna get it completely right.
Sweet mercy. I do.
It is directly in the show notes if you read them.
It is. I suck. It is info.
Nope.
Content.
Nope, not that one. Show
at maelstromradio.com. I swear I will get this right. Sweet mercy. It's send us an email at show@maelstromradio.com. We would love your emails. Donkatron emailed us, and he's getting a minion, so it can't hurt. Always email us. We may have another contest coming up closer to FanFest. I have not thought that one through yet, so don't quote me on that. But thinking,
we'll have something.
It's all up here. It's going on, whatever it is. So thank you all. I got nothing else, and my co-host got nothing else, and I'm hungry. I want to go eat dinner, and so thank you. Enjoy your time in Eorzea. Remember, this game could be more than it is, but you speak your words, ask smart questions, think with your mind, and don't always ask dumb questions, because A lot of people do that with MMO companies. Don't do that. Just ask smart questions and you'll get smart answers. Thank you all. Remember, till sea swallow all. But we'll be here next Monday because I don't think the sea's going to swallow us yet. But if it does, we'll be in the water temple. So, thank you, Eorzea. Thank you, chat. Thank you, everyone.
Damn water temple.
And peace.